I'm not saying at every bus stop, that can't be done. Or they should also be in the undercover as they arrive at the school.
At the school?
Yeah, in other words, in the parking lot.
I mean, it would be, what probably, unfortunately, these things cost a lot of money, and
2 hours a day, an hour and a half a day, so, and then when they pick them up, because that's when something will happen. It's not happening at 9 o'clock at night at the school.
you know, they look for maximum impact. Yeah.
We're pretty much sitting ducks.
The whole country
Ducks
is
good, but it's like you think.
That's why you have to learn this safer.
But yeah.
That's why you have to learn this book.
Which
book?
Which one?
Shaar Habitachon. Yeah, learn this book.
But it doesn't.
Sherman's running this.
But you have to trust and also verify. Right? Like.
You have to be normal.
Don't you want to be prepared also?
Yeah, no, so I am. I mean, I little by little, I do more and more and more. Like years ago, I took one level of caution. Now, additional level of caution. I mean,
What is that?
what?
A level of caution.
At home, at work. I after this dates back to, I know, from the first guy came
Oh, yeah.
Was it nice?
So basically what I did was, we always had night security in camp. Post Hano, we have 24/7. There's always presence. I put in gates. And all it does, is that going to save you? No. But there are people that don't have that. And the places where they want to go are places where they don't have that. You don't go where somebody, anything that you, any place where there's a person standing there, it's less likely they can do anything. Places upstate, they've bought in these townships. There's a place called, they renamed the city, Islamburg.
Oh, I read about that. That was in the paper a number of years ago. Yeah, they had a whole article.
They go wherever the Jews are.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's a
Training ground.
Training ground.
Yeah.
Female training ground. When I first got to mountains, like when I got involved up there, this is dating back 15, 16 years ago. I don't remember what it was. I was in ShopRite. I remember walking through the aisles, and I see a woman in a full burqa, and a guy who looks like clearly like an Arab, and two kids, blonde hair and blue eyed. And the woman you cannot see. The man's talking to them in Arabic, and you can piece together the story if you have half a brain. These guys come up there and woo these, degenerate white trash, blonde hair, blue eyed apple pie, girls.
White trash.
Yeah, right. All these kids have blonde hair, blue eyed, they look like anybody in their ass. And they're being trained in these places. And if you don't think that, and
No,
when was this? This was, these kids were approximately, I would say about 8 years old, and this was 14 years ago.
Right.
Now you do the math.
Right.
You wouldn't even see it now. That's how crazy it is. Prior to this, I saw this once before in my life in Oregon. I did one of the biggest sales I ever made was this, it was a prison call center in Oregon called Inside Oregon. It was a call center, and we set up this call center, very, very successful, one of the most successful call centers in the country actually, in Oregon. I remember landing at the airport. I don't remember, I'm not positive. I think, I'm trying to remember what state is right next to Oregon. I don't know.
Washington.
It's another state.
No, it's
California,
California, Washington, going up the coast.
Montana.
Or Oregon and Washington.
Idaho.
Idaho's over to the right.
So, so for some reason I had to land in Idaho and drive. I landed in Idaho, and I walked out, and I literally see one of these meetings from right out of the movies. Same thing. But this time, how did I know? I don't remember what tipped me off, but I recognized. I didn't see kids at the time. Nah, you know what? I'm making it's in my head. I don't remember it so well, the details of it, but I remember seeing one of these meetings that looked like straight out of a movie, like these two getting together, cars and under the radar, because no one will know anything about it. Guys out. What they said, encampments that these people are setting up out there.
Oh, I know it's training, white supremacist training. It's a very conservative state.
So
right, yeah.
What was it? The other head I saw some other, I can't even remember it, so 2005. That was in 2005.
It's terrible. You know, but the picture in the paper, you had to see the Chinese going into these areas of mine and the examples of encampments, and the Chinese are gone. Just, they're coming in, they're training there. I'm telling you, if they give another 4 years to this country, is that sure. And you know what it is? It just has to be California, New York.
Let's get that out of the way.
We've been talking about gloom and doom up until you got here.
Gloom and doom? In this room?
That's where it went to.
It's so bright.
I think it's on everybody's mind.
Excuse me.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
It was all recorded, so.
Was it?
Right.
I didn't say anything bad. So you see, when you don't talk bad, you have to worry.
You hear that? Priceless advice right there. When you don't talk bad, you don't have to worry.
We could all go home now.
That's pretty solid. It's the simple things in life, you know?
And you don't have to remember what you said either.
I hear
You
that.
tell the truth. You
Right.
don't have to remember it, because it'll always
Right.
be
Once you tell the truth, you have nothing to worry about. Shmuel did a song like that. Shmuel Prednik, you know the one? He has a song like that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's continue now. We're on page 178. We're moving here. We're moving here. What are you thinking?
Me?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm
Nothing?
I'm preparing myself.
Prepare yourself. Be prepared. Shkayach. That's something in my throat here. Okay. So we are starting the Chelik Shishi, the sixth category of trying to draw down the Yesodus of Bitachon that we've been learning about into details, into categories that we are trying to live by. We've been working on this for a long time. This is the Chelik, the paragraph V, is really, really where we go Lamaisa. That's what we've been working on for a long time. So now we're making a big turn here. The last two Chalakim, we're going to discuss reward in this world and the world to come. Olam Haba, Schar, which is a big, big sugya. And I want to try to stay out of the big, big sugya. And I want to try to, as much as possible, just stay on course. The Chovos Levavos himself goes on a little bit of an arichas, which is not generally as mahalach, discussing schar in Olam Haba, specifically why it's not mentioned in the Torah. You don't really hear that much about schar. Punishments you hear a lot about, and he's going to discuss that. But the schar you don't. And he's going to explain for a while. It's going to take us probably a few weeks, I would assume. Different reasons why that is. At the end of it, he gets to the Nekuda of Bitachon. So we're going to mention that Nekuda probably right in the beginning. And we're going to learn through every word of the Chovos HaLevavos, and we're going to try to stay as tightly packed as possible. I don't want to go on into a whole, set of shirim for hundreds of, shirim about Olam Haba and Schar. We have to leave the page a little bit, but we're going to try to keep it more guided towards the Sugya B'tachon, not just let it go, into many, many places. So with that, let's start. So 178, towards the bottom here, the author now turns to discuss how a person is to have bitachon regarding matters of the sixth category, i.e., attaining a reward for his divine service. That throws me off a little bit. Why throw me off a little bit? Attaining a reward for his divine service. What's divine service? Let's define, right? We talk about words here a lot. What does the word divine here mean? That's what you would think, right? But is that true? Kadosh Baruch Hu rewards us. What's divine service? Any time that a person is doing anything, L'Shem Shamayim. What happens if you smile at a person? What happens if you're just a happy person? If you're doing it L'Shem Shamayim, you're doing it because the Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you things. Your car's makir tov, and therefore you're happy. Or you do it because you're working on the avodah of simcha. Because that's a big inyan to be b'simcha in this world. That's divine service also. There's nothing wrong with the word. I just want to expand. We have to expand what we think is divine service. Usually people think divine service is Torah, mitzvahs, end, period, done, game over. But then our lives are, we've just minimized God in our life, right? We've discussed this in various times, but let's, for a minute, a second, whatever, just to think about it. Divine service is any time we connect to the divine. So the more we expand that, from the second you wake up to the time you go to bed, every second could be divine service, right? Moda'ani until Krishma Almita, right? Those are the bookends of the day, and then everything in between could be just where's your head. That's not the exact sugya of bitachon. It's part of it. It's really the sugya of yichud ha'maisa and other categories, other gateways of Chovos HaLevavos. But when a person does trust in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, let's bring it to bitachon. When we do trust in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and we believe that every single thing that happens to us is from Him, tailor-made for me, right? It's from Him for me, so every moment could be divine service. If I'm a kabel that from a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and I respond appropriately or as best as we can, but the very fact that we recognize that it came from a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that already makes it divine service. Correct? That's emunah. So every moment of our day could be turned into that. Even though not every single second we could be thinking actively. You're at work, you have to do work. Even when you're learning, you need to be learning what the topic is. You can't always be thinking of a Kadosh Baruch Hu in the forefront. But if you set yourself that He's always in the background, because in life, right, what I see in the foreground, I don't see Him. But what the tachas of life is to recognize that He's in the background of everything. Even though I have to live the foreground. Correct? We've discussed these topics, these reflections, these thoughts. So it's the same thing with everything. Okay. So after just reading the Hakdama.
There's an ad this week in one of the Jewish magazines for a new restaurant in New Jersey. And the tagline is dishing up divine. That's not what we're talking about here.
It could be. What do you mean? If you have kavana, you go to the restaurant. Right. If you're shalom bayis, so you go and or you're taking a client out there because you believe that's what a Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to do. You sit down and you order with midos, and then you eat the food. You say a nice bracha. Every single moment you could. Not easy, but you could. Right? We could turn everything into divine service, but the Pashup shot probably not. You have to read into it a little bit. Sorry. Aval perish hachelik hashishiv hu begmul ha'olam hazeh b'olam haba asher yeh ha'adam roi lo b'mayis ha'tov b'olam hahu. The explanation of the sixth category, the reward that the person receives in this world and in the world to come, which a person receives if deserving of it on account of his good deeds in the world, is shagmul al shnei panim, gemul b'olam hazeh b'lvad, u'gemul b'olam haba b'lvad. The reward is given to a person in two ways. There are some mitzvahs or divine service right, in the general way, for which a person receives reward in the world alone. While there are other mitzvahs, again, or divine service in the general way, mitzvahs, what is a mitzvah? Let's, because we have to use that word. What does the word mitzvah mean? Let's define some words here. How does the Baal Shem Tov translate the word mitzvah? I understand it. What's the shoresh? You're going to the Zohar. Oh, Chil. You're going mamish Kabbalistic over here. It's 100% right. The mitzvahs are eitzes. Pieces of advice to what? Finish it off. What are the eitzes to? Dveikus B'Hashem. Right? We'll go with that once Yichil already mentions. The Zohar Kadosh says that the 613 mitzvahs, the Zohar Kadosh says there's 613 itin. Itin are eitzes, pieces of advice. Advice for what? Advice to be dovek, to cleave, to cling to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Good. What else does mitzvah? Right? When you learn the pneumius of things, you really expand. You expand the, I can't speak English anymore, horizons. Okay, for lack of better words. The Baal Shem Tov says mitzvah comes from the word savtza. What? Savtza, at least in Aramaic, it means clamp. What clamps you to a Kadosh Baruch Hu? What binds you, which is very similar to what Yechiel is saying. The difference is that we could be bound, right? Where the Zohar Kadosh has 613, but really, it really means any time that a person is davuk, is cleaving to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and that could be any time. Any time a person chooses, right? Make a choice. It doesn't have to just mean one of the 613. Anytime we make a choice, life itself. Anytime you turn to Kadosh Baruch Hu, anytime, any thought, any feeling, anything you say, anything you do, which is connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu, that itself is called Chaim. That's Chaim, that's Dveikis, that's B'charta B'chaim, that becomes a mitzvah. Becomes a mitzvah. We can create mitzvahs. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us many mitzvahs that we have to keep. Not that we're adding 614 mitzvahs, that's not the point. You can find every act of service in one of the 613. But again, we're trying to expand. So the word mitzvah, even the word mitzvah is much more expansive than maybe we're taught. Mitzvah doesn't just mean 613. It doesn't just mean davening and learning. It means much, much more, right? So anytime we're doing a mitzvah, either the reward that we get for that is going to be in this world alone, while there are other mitzvahs for which a person receives its reward solely in the world to come. Sometimes a person will be deserving of both rewards in this world and the next for the same action. Right? Some actions give us reward in this world, some actions give us reward in the next world, and some actions have a combination. There's lots of questions on this. What do you mean, schar mitzvah? B'haya al maleka, says the Gemara, how do you get schar mitzvah in this world? Many such questions. I don't know if we want to go into that right now. We'll see if that comes out, but it has to. I want to try to guide it towards bitachon. So says the Chavos Lavos Vayter. He says, "V'lo porish lanu be'er zel be'er hetiv. Ach orev habori la'amol gemul kolin." Next page. Al ma'isa kolel. V'lo chilek ha'gemul al ha'avodos b'olam k'moshe asa ba'onish al veres ba'olam. Translation: the Torah does not clearly explain this matter as to which reward the person receives for which mitzvah, but the Creator did assure His nation of a general reward for their actions. It's going to be rewards we know. If you follow my ways, you do my mitzvahs, you will get geshem, you will have children, you will have houses, you will have all the good stuff. Which mitzvah exactly? Mitzvosai, chukosai, right? Keep the mitzvahs, follow my ways. But the Creator did assure His nation of a general reward for their actions, although He did not specify which reward will be received for each mitzvah, as He did regarding the punishment in the world for transgressions. Back to the Hebrew, he says, these words people know. Malkas arbam, umisa, v'karis, v'tashlume kefel, v'tashlume arba v'chamisha, v'nezek, shor, bor, v'shem, v'eish, v'nosin mum ba'adam, v'shalachas yad, v'mavusha, v'motzi shema, v'adom alazeh. We'll translate, these are all the different punishments a person can receive. For example, the Torah specifies the acts for which the transgressor is liable to be stoned, burned, executed by sword, strangled. The arba mitzvah is based in The Gemaras, specifically Sanhedrin, goes through different cases and which words of the Torah, when a person is chayiv for certain acts that he's doing, which word means stoning, which word means beheading, and so on and so forth. To receive 40 lashes, right? You know, there's also you have makas, punished by death at the hands of God, which is the need of kares. He says suffer kares also. Pay of double, right? A person, when he steals something, he's a ganav and he gets caught, he's paid double. These are all the punishments that are clearly expressed. Mishnayos and Gemaras galore in all of these sugis. Pay 4 or 5 times the amount when he steals and then he shechts it or he sells it. Pay 4 or 5 times. Similarly, the Torah specifies how much a person is required to pay for damages. All Baba Kama, all Baba Metzia. And he is required to pay for damages caused by his ox, his pit, the teeth of his animal, right? His fire, the damage caused by a person who inflicts a blemish on another person, the damage caused by someone who strikes a person's private parts, busha, all these sugyas, or someone who makes a slanderous claim against his wife, motzi shemra, lashon hara, these such sugyas, and so on. The Torah states what our reward and punishment will be in this world. But there is a fundamental difference between reward and punishment, because while the Torah is very specific with the punishment for each sin, it is not so for the reward. Rather, it suffices with stating that those who observe the mitzvahs will be rewarded. Fine. He's going to go on now to explain why the Torah does not mention the reward. But in terms of bitachon, what's the lamaisa of bitachon, trusting in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, in this chelik, shishi, of the schar in this world and the next world? What would the bitachon be? Right? The trust. What? In what? Menuchas nefesh, correct. Menuchas nefesh is the translation of bitachon according to the Chovos HaLevavos, but specifically what? Let's draw it down.
My actions will bring about those spiritual results.
Exactly. I believe a Kadosh Baruch Hu tells all of Klal Yisrael, that when we do mitzvahs, divine service, when we act in the way that He wants us to act, there will be reward in this world and the next world. I don't understand, I don't know all the details. He didn't give us a flow chart, a spreadsheet, Excel, none of that, of which mitzvahs, how much kavana, we don't know. But we do know, the more mitzvahs we do, and then we also know, if we know the sugyas of kavana, lishma, the more we do, the better we do, we will get schar for that, whether we see it or we don't see it. Trust. Trust. When something lo aleinu goes wrong in your life, don't throw up your hands and say, Kadosh Baruch Hu, but I did all those mitzvahs, where's my schar? Right, that would be a pagam in bitachon. Hashem says, Al tidag, don't worry. I'm going to give you schar. But I'm going to decide when and how and where I'm going to give it to you. Trust means stay calm, menuchas nefesh, in the belief, in the total trust that a Kadosh Baruch Hu will give us the reward even if we don't see it. Try not to ask too many questions, because you will not get the answers. What we will do, we will give some reasons why HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not explain to us the schar clearly. And what we will try to do, which is a little bit outside the page, maybe it's inside, maybe it's a little bit outside, we will try to expand what schar is. What is the reward for a mitzvah? Lamaisa. Because maybe a person is getting a schar and he doesn't realize, right? If you were actually getting schar and you didn't realize, and then you turn to a Kadosh Baruch Hu and say, "Hey, Kadosh Baruch Hu, can you give me schar for what I did?" That's a big no-no. That's a big chutzpah, right? Hashem says, "What do you mean? I'm giving you schar already. You just didn't realize it." So we're going to have to expand that, because the more we see what the schar is, A, it will help us see, believe, trust that the Kadosh Baruch Hu gives us schar. B, it will help us work on the sugya of simcha, because when we realize the schar, some people don't even realize. I was speaking to a person once, and he was about this type of sugya. It's a while back, and I expanded what schar means, and he just stopped. And he was like looking around, and a great sense of just simcha came upon him, because he didn't realize the whole time that was really Kadosh Baruch Hu giving him. He was always looking for the thing he didn't have, right? And we've discussed many times, when you look for the thing that you don't have, you've just nullified everything that you do have. So where a person can have millions and millions of dollars, but if he doesn't have that extra dollar that he thinks he should have, he doesn't appreciate the millions. He just thinks about what he doesn't have. That's a destruction of a person's whole life. So we want to try to help people be happy, because that's part of bitachon. And also, we don't want to be a mechutzah, right? We don't have a chutzpah to Kadosh Baruch Hu. When He's already giving us, we don't want to have to ask for more. So we're going to get to that, I think, over the next few weeks. But I wanted to, because I was learning a little chumash this morning, and a Rashi right in the beginning. Right? Whenever your eyes are on a certain sugya, if you learn other things, you will see that sugya come out, and you'll understand a Rashi, you'll understand the Gemara, perhaps in a different way than other people, because specifically with your perspective that you're working through, you will understand it. It'll pop out to you. So I'll just read you what happens right in the beginning of Parsha Shalach, which is one of the biggest downfalls of our history. We end up 40 years dragging around the Midbar, not going to Eretz Yisrael right away. All the people die. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't make it at the end of the day, partially because of this inyan, right? So what's there's much to talk about, and we weren't there, and we don't know. We have to just take what we can from Chazal and try to understand the best we can, not to point fingers back then, but to help ourselves now. Whatever mistakes they made then, let's not make those mistakes. Let's try to work on ourselves, right? So the pasuk starts off right away. Shlach lecha nashim, right? Send for yourself men. V'yasuru es eretz Canaan asher ani nosein livnei Yisrael ish echad, and go tour. Go take a tour. V'yasuru is lashon tour, right? Go take a tour tour. Go check it out. Eretz Canaan, the land that I've given to Bnei Yisrael, right? Pick some men and go. Rashi says, Shlach lecha. Why doesn't it just say shlach or tishlach? Send. Why is it shlach lecha? Lecha means to you, for yourself. Shlach lecha, ledaitcha. According to your das, if you want to. Ani, says a Kadosh Baruch Hu, eini mitzav lecha. I'm not commanding you. I'm not giving you a mitzvah to send spies to Eretz Yisrael to check it out. Im tirtza shalach. If you want, go right ahead. Right? You're standing 3 days. We learned Rashi tells us in last week's parsha they were 3 days away when Moshe was trying to convince Yisro to come with them. Rashi says they were 3 days away from Eretz Yisrael. So if you want to send, you want to scout it out, check it out, for whatever reason, go right ahead. But I'm not giving you a mitzvah to do that. Because the pasuk in Devarim says the people wanted. That's what Rashi says. Moshe wasn't really asking necessarily. The people were saying we have to send, we have to check it out, what's going to be over there. And he brings a pasuk over there. You all, Moshe says, you all like jumped on me, you like attacked me to force me to send messengers. Moshe nimlach b'shchina, and Moshe Rabbeinu went, I guess maybe to the Mishkan, to the Ol Moed, and he turned to the Shechina, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to ask, should we send? Amar. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Ani amarti lahem, I said to you all, Shehi Tova, that the land is good. Shenemar ala eschem me anu Mitzrayim, chayeyem. He doesn't bring that into the pasuk, I didn't look it up. But I'm going to take you out of Mitzrayim, I'm going to bring you to a good land, in Eretz Tova. Right, we know, we bench with that every day. I told you it's a good land. So now that the people asked to send messengers, the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, I told you it was good. You want to send? Go right ahead. But Chayeyim, says the Kadosh Baruch Hu, but be careful. Sha'ani nosein lehem makom l'ta'os b'divrei hameraglim l'man lo Yershua. But now I'm going to give you a place to make a mistake. Make a mistake in the words of the Meraglim that you might not now inherit it. So what's this Rashi? What's going on over here? Everybody's seen this Rashi before. You've heard this before. It's very simple to be talking, no? Well, Kadosh Baruch Hu saying to Moshe, I told you the land is good. It's an Eretz Tov. Right? It's good. Trust me. Believe me. Just go. Moshe says, but the people want to do hishtadlis. Hashem says, You want to do Ishtadlis? Go right ahead. But I told you it's good. You don't need to do Ishtadlis. If you do Ishtadlis, it's a makom sakana. It's a makom litos. Because if you do Ishtadlis in a place that you don't need to, nowadays we need to do Ishtadlis. But Kadosh Baruch Hu, if he came down to you and says, listen, don't worry about it, just go. Hashem came. Just go. Right? The same one who took the Yad HaMitzrayim, the one who had the Esher Makkah, the same one who took Yamsuf, the same one who brought them on, the same one who brought them the Torah. And he said that Eretz Yisrael is good, just go. And you decide on your own you want to do Hishtadlis, you're in a very big danger zone. Because now you're relying on human, and if the Meraglim come back with anything else but, it's Gevaldik, let's go, now what are the people going to do? Hashem says it's good. The Meraglim went with their physical human eyes and said it's not good. That's a big quandary. Says the Kodesh Baruch Hu, why did you need to put yourself into that position? What will you have gained with this Meraglim? You gain nothing. You could only lose. Because if they come back with a good report, so then what did you need them for? You should just believe me. If they come back with a bad report, now you have a big shayla. Do I follow God or do I follow the Meraglim? Well, God, He loves us, but the Meraglim actually saw it, These men, they saw it, their own eyes. Yeah, but Kadosh Baruch Hu, He did the Esher Makos, God's God, and He said the land is good. Yeah, but the people just saw it. Maybe a Kadosh Baruch Hu changed his mind. Maybe it was good. Maybe He changed it. Now you get into big toes. And that was the beginning of the end for Klal Yisrael. It was a pagam in their bitachon. I'm just reading Rashi, right? From that, Meraglim came back. They made a mistake, big mistake. 40 years in the desert. Everybody, no one makes it except for a few, except for Yeshua and Kalev. All because they did a little act of extra of Ishtadlis. You know what I'm saying?
I read it a little differently.
Yeah.
I think initially when Hashem says it's good, I told you it's good. You don't need bitachon in that sense because Hashem's telling you it's good. There's no need for bitachon at that point. These are the oichlei amat. These are the ones that are having the unopportunity through the desert. They're coming to Moshe. They're saying we're about to go into Eretz Yisrael. We're getting involved in the land where all that stuff is now disappearing. We need a little bit of training in bitachon. And so Hashem says, I'm going to make that makam. I'm going to open up that space where there's now a separation and there's a distance, and that's where the bitachon comes in. It's the opportunity for bitachon that they wanted. So I'm giving them all credit here.
That's complicated. It's complicated. I hear you saying, but that's a toast.
Huh?
The source of that was a toast.
Sure, because Hashem's telling you.
You shouldn't have even had that thought.
Right, but they wanted a little bit more because we're about to go to Eretz Yisrael. We're going to lose all the direct.
So a toast it was.
Sure.
Yeah. So a toast was. Yeah. Right, we have to be careful with bitachon. It's a slippery slope. And Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted it. We have to be careful to know that Kadosh Baruch Hu also wanted this. We saw the bechira. That's not for the shaila. Now we have discussed that a little bit. But myself, just reading, at least just on a pashut level, it's a shaila bitachon. What went on over here? Bitachon, ishtadlis, to trust, not to trust. And with that, we could bring us to another nekuda, because some ask, what's the Shaar Habitachon talking about over here? We're talking about schar in this world, right? Trust that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to be the schar. 1 second. Don't we know in Pirkei Avos that the whole tachlis is not to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu for schar? Hey, don't be, it's like this third mission of Pirkei Avos. Second, maybe third, I don't know. It's one of the, right in the beginning. Be an Eved that doesn't serve his master for a pras. Be a master that, whatever. It says it both ways. Don't be a master that serves him for a price. Be a master that doesn't serve him for a price. Meaning lishma. Serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu totally lishma. Don't expect anything. The master will take care of you. We're going to have to go through many, many pages of schar and reward to know you're going to get it. Don't worry. Al tidag, you're going to get. It's true, but that kind of goes against a little bit of everything we try to work on. Why are we getting involved in the schar? So, sorry. So I'll tell you a Torah from the Siva Shalom that I saw many years ago that left a big, big impression on me. It would be best to really learn it inside and to learn it slowly. So hopefully we'll say it a little bit slow. I don't want to just rush through it. I should have printed it out for you. I'm sorry. Because if you go through too fast, you're like, wow, it's a great idea, but then you don't get the whole. So we'll speak it out slowly. So Kodesh Baruch does Avram Avinu. Lech lecha, shlach lecha, right? Lech lecha me'artzecha u'minoladetcha. So this is the charge that Hashem gives. Yeah, sure. Page Samech Ches. Come on, check out it's really this end. I guess. Yeah, my secretary wasn't around today. It's Sunday. She doesn't work. Joking. No secretary. Anyway.
If you call me, she could.
Yeah, she could. Yeah, I work her too hard on Sundays. So Kodesh Baruch Hu says, the Avram Avinu, it's time to go. And Rashi says, on the spot, if you remember, and it's a little while since Bereshis, Lech lecha, go lecha for yourself. Rashi says, anybody? La'anoscha u'lutovascha. Go, it will be to your benefit, it will be to your goodness. Right? Don't worry, I'm going to make you a great nation. Right? All good things. Parnasa, children, Rashi says, everything. Go for yourself, it's going to be worth it. So the Mefarshim comes, says the Nesiv Shalom. Do you have it? Should I read it inside?
We have it. Yeah, we have it.
Should I read it inside? I'll read it inside and I'll translate. The meat of Avram Avinu we know is ahava. It's like skvura, Yaakov Teferes, but Avram is ahava, love, chesed. V'akasav koru Avram ohavu, my beloved Avram. Ubevadish kol avodos Hashem Yisbarach Haisa b'siha ahava. Everything that all the avodah that Avram Avinu did was at the height of ahavas Hashem, pure love. V'shalom anas lakabel schar. Avram Avinu served Hashem for schar. Yeah, right. He served it because he loved. Why did a Kodesh Baruch have to say, like dangle some schar in front of Avram Avinu's face? You know, you should really do this because don't worry. I'll take care of you. Give you all the money, all the fame. Why did Avram Avinu need that ulterior motive? He would have done it anyway. And another question. This is one of the 10 tests of Avram Avinu. It's one of the first of the 10. Lech lecha, leave your land. Go to Eretz Yisrael. Kadosh Baruch promises him great wealth, great bracha. Where's the nisayon anymore? Go, and I'll give you every Avram Avinu. I'll give you everything. What kind of nisayon is that? He's going to get everything for going, so it's worth it to go. What's the difficulty for Avram Avinu to go in that way? Kadosh Baruch came to any one of us and said, listen, it's time for you to go to Eretz Yisrael. You got to sell your house. Hashem, I don't really want to go. I'm happy here. No, sell your house, take your kids out of school, go to Eretz Yisrael, but don't worry, I'll take care of you. I'll give you all the money, the fame. Your kids will be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Kadosh Baruch tells you. We would do it. If Kadosh Baruch came and told us we were a Navi, we would go. So what's the Nisai? Just go to the next paragraph. Yesh Lomar, Nesiv Shalom explains. Api Mashem Avar B'Drosha Saran, the Sefer, the Drosha Saran. Es Nisayon Akedah. So he explains he's going to the Akedah, and he explains over there what was the Nisayon by the Akedah. She'ikar Nisayon he bekach she'amalo Kadosh Baruch kach no es bin chazichitcha. Avinu, can you please take your son Yitzchak, your beloved son, to the Akedah? Ein na eloshin bakasha. The word na is please. Please, can you? Klomar eini mitzanchagach. I'm not commanding you, says a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's not a mitzvah. Please. El mevakesh ani mimcha, but I'm requesting from Avram Avinu. You know that son that you davened 100 years for? He's a great tzaddik. He's great. He's gonna be gevaldik. But I want him for me. If you want to make me happy, says HaKadosh Baruch, you want to bring me a nachas ruach, you want to make Tati happy, can you bring him as a carbon and shecht him and kill him? Because I want him. Set him up on a fire, like a carbon nachas ruach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Can you do that for me, please? I'm not commanding you. I know it's a little hard, but it would bring me such pleasure. But if you're not makayim this mitzvah, you're not over anything. You didn't do anything wrong because I didn't command you. That takes on a whole other level of this nisayon. Yitzchak Avinu, the beloved child. If a Kadosh Baruch Hu came and said, you have to do this, Avram Avinu, there's no other move. Okay, Avram Avinu goes. But now he's requesting, Avram Avinu, if you want to make me happy, can you kill your son? Kadosh Baruch Hu, you know what? I'd rather not kill my son, and I'll make you happy in other ways. Right? Wouldn't that be that's the Nisayon now. He says, because of Sham she'iloy bezet tzivoy, right? If it would have been a tzivoy, everybody would have done it. Aval, second line, the third to last line, about hakoshi agadol b'nisayon hayim machmas shal hayim b'derech tzivoy. The ikar Nisayon was because it was not a tzivoy. V'haiselo ha'efsharas gam shlo l'kayim. He had the choice not to l'kayim this extra bonus mitzvah. So do a bonus mitzvah and kill my son, or keep my son, who I died for 100 years for, and he's my son, and he's going to be a great tzaddik, and not get the bonus. This is what's going through Avram Avinu's mind. It's the rotzen of Avram Avinu. Now with that, now we can explain the Nisayon of Lech Lecha me'atzcha me'meladitcha. Avram Avinu, leave your land. Shakadosh Baruch Hu Amar Lo Lech Lecha la'nas l'tovasa. Avram Avinu, go, leave here, but don't worry, you're going to get all the good stuff. Bracha, Parnasa, everything. I'll give you everything. The test was that Avram Avinu had to look away from all of the schar that he's going to get. His alim, he had to hide from all of that potential schar. And he was only supposed to go because the Kadosh Baruch Hu told him to. The Nisayon of Lech Lecha is that you promised all of the good stuff. You promised Olam Haba. You promised Olam Hazeh. But the Nisayon is that you can't, in your kavanah, do it for those reasons. That's the Nisayon. You have to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu because that's the emes. It's the emes. That's the Nisayon. He says, all the brachas that shehuftechu lo, promised, bitachon, right? Our bitachon comes from a Kadosh Baruch Hu's promises. Lo nechshu etzel leklum umas gadol chibaso lasos v'tzonius baruch. The test was that all that gashmis that you're going to get, Avram Avinu, should be worth nothing in your eyes because you just want to serve me because you love me. So when it comes to the sugya of all of the schar that we're going to talk about in Chovos Levavos, all this extra schar, we're discussing it. We're not saying that a person is supposed to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu for the schar, right? The ikar is that a person is supposed to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu not for the schar. Even though we believe and trust, we have to trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu 1,000,000% that there is schar, there is lahanascha, there is lotovascha, because you need that as a starting place. But as we go on through our mitzvahs, we have to slowly but surely drop off that and pick up more of a lishma in our avodah. Right? Drop off the lo lishma. That's how life is. You talk shelo lishma, ba lishma. You have to start every avodah lo lishma, and throughout our avodah, throughout a person gets more maturity in avodas Hashem is to drop off the lo lishma, drop off the benefits that you're going to get, and slowly pick up the lishma. I'm doing this only because the Kadosh Baruch Hu said so. That's it. When it comes to the Chovos Levavos, if we can add a very big yesod in the entire scheme of Chovos Levavos in general, not just Shaar Habitachon, but his entire scheme, is that a person is supposed to have hakar satov to Kadosh Baruch Hu. We've discussed this many, many times. All of avodas Hashem, he says in Shaar Avodas Elokim, all of avodas Elokim is dependent on a person's hakar satov, true hakar satov to Kadosh Baruch Hu. So if we could try to just imagine this for a second, the way it goes is like this. Imagine there's a road. There's a road. And we're on that road towards Olam Haba. Right? We're on that road towards Olam Haba, and we see the schar, lahanas, latovas, all the good things that Hashem promises us. You'll get everything. Just stay on the road. So at first, the end goal, all the schar, all the parnasa, all the brachas, that's what takes us. You teach the kids, listen, if you do this mitzvah, you're going to build another brick in the base of Mikdash. You're going to get Gan Eden, all these good things. So again, the beginning, when we're immature, we need a lo lishma to get us on the road, to get us walking. But at a certain point, it has to be worked on with Hakar Satov, with Bitachon. You no longer need the motivation of the end, Rather, you look back and you realize how much a Kadosh Baruch Hu is giving you at a certain point in your life. Right? When a person's a certain, even by 20 years old potentially, maybe let's say 20, I don't know. He's already, if he learns the Sugya of Akar Satov properly, like we've discussed, and he works on Bitachon, he has so much chesed of a Kadosh Baruch Hu behind him. Every moment of life, what his parents have given him, all of his stuff, his teachers, all of the good things in life. Again, you have to teach the kid properly. It's not so simple. But there's so much stuff behind, he no longer needs the motivation of what's coming his way. Rather, he just has to say, wow, Kadosh Baruch Hu, you've given me so much in my life. I want to serve you. Not because I'm going to get anything, just out of feeling indebted to you. This is the mahalach of the Chavos Levavos. When a person takes on this mahalach, that his life is filled and his avodas Hashem is filled, is motivated because of Akar Satov and Hodah, everything changes. It's Simcha Tamidi. Every day is a sunny day. Because you're not looking for something that you're lacking. And when you don't get that exact thing, then you're down. You're only working based on everything you've received. So every moment you're filled up. You're living life filled up instead of lacking and trying to fill yourself up. It is a different mahalach of life. Totally. This is all Chavos Levavos, Akar Satov, and Bitachon. And the Schar Olam Haba, again, that he's speaking about is just to get us started on the road. Trust that there's Schar Olam Haba, there's all this type of schar, but it's not the tachlis, as he says in many other places. And we'll continue learning to expand what schar is. Because a person can look back and say, okay, yes, I've gotten some stuff. Yeah, I'm here physically, but I didn't have such a great, I haven't had such a great life. We have to expand what schar is to change that mindset. No. You have a lot of, you've received a lot. Don't take it for granted. Because the less you take for granted, and the more you recognize that a Kadosh Baruch Hu has given you, that opens you up again to this Simcha T'midi. This life of Akar Tov, which is a life of Menuchas HaNefesh, a life of Yishuv Hadas, a life that you can go through Nisyonos in a strong way and a powerful way. That's all we're looking for, right? Shaar Habitachon.